Hi, and welcome back to my channel. You are watching Live Positive Life Coaching. My name is Joanne, and I am a certified life coach. What my channel is, or what I mainly focus on, is married women that want to strengthen their marriages. I also work with engaged women that when they're planning for that big day, don't forget to plan for the future of an everlasting marriage. And so with that, let's go into what I am going to go ahead and talk about today. It's on a relationship level. So like I said, that's what I work with. So a lot of my content will be based on relationships, but I'll throw in some other things here and there, maybe some social media posts of what would look like an inspirational or a thoughtful post, saying, quote, and just how those may affect you if you're not aware of your thoughts. But with that, let's go ahead and share my screen. So this is a wife that is having some struggles in her marriage. And so she's reached out to social media for some advice. Husband is bored with me, doesn't care about our marriage. I've been married for 8 years now, and my husband doesn't do anything to keep up our marriage. He works and eats, that's all. I haven't been romanced in so long. No flowers or anything special. He makes literally no decision and cares nothing about his weight. I'm honestly lonely. I feel like I can't even talk to him because he starts to yawn or look at his phone. Do I need to leave the house more, dress up and go out for him to care? I just feel lonely. So I'm going to use the information that she's given us to put through the model that I've already gone over in the last couple of videos. And then I'll also give some other opinion or advice on this post. So when we're looking at this, the only factual information she gave us is she's been married for 8 years. And then the rest is a lot of evidence that she's providing to back up her thought about feeling lonely. And that's what our brain does. We have a thought and our mind starts looking for all this evidence to support that thought. So the other highlighted parts are things that she has the control to change. So let's go ahead and look at this. So right here, she talks about how he works and eats, that's all. Even if that was true, she can't change that. She hasn't been romanced. Again, something she cannot change in her husband. She could do special things for herself. You don't need someone to validate you. You can send flowers to yourself if you want. You can do something special for yourself. You can think those thoughts that you don't need to have somebody validate you to feel special, because you could already know yourself that you're special. He makes literally no decisions and cares nothing about his weight. Again, if that's 100% factual, which it's a thought, so it's not. But if it was, she can't change him. Only he can change him. So let's look at her thoughts. I'm honestly lonely. I feel like I can't even talk to him because he starts to yawn or look at his phone. So her honestly being lonely is being created because she is telling herself she's lonely. She's coming up with all this evidence. I don't know if she's tried to sit down and talk with him, if she's suggested counseling, because again, all we're working off is this post. But if you're in this situation and your husband is looking distracted or picks up a phone or yawns when you start venting to him, right there, that might turn off anybody, depending on how you are approaching, how you want to speak about a conversation. So prep yourself for the conversation. Let that other person know, hey, I need to speak to you. Please put your phone down. Now, if they don't, you cannot, or you should not, it doesn't help the situation, let me put it that way, for you to be offended by it, because we all get to have that agency of what we want to do. And unless we know the exact reason of what they're thinking, we don't need to make or create stories in our brains that separate us even more. So when you put out a request, regardless of if it's this type of a situation or it's please take out the garbage, when you give a request out, don't do it with an intention of receiving your request. And if you don't, it means X, Y, and Z. Try not to have anything attached to a request, because remember, if someone asks you something, you have the right to say yes or no. That's what we all have, free agency. So let's move on. Using the model, the only factual thing in that statement that we could put in the circumstance, I'm sure if she was here with me, we would come down to a more specific event and give exact factual statement of what happened. On such and such day, I said this, he said this. Then we could put that very specific, very factual statement in there, but we don't have that, so we're going with husband of 8 years. So the thought that I think encompasses that whole post, I'm honestly lonely, and all the other sentences in that post was evidence for this. So if you have this thought and you feel it deep down, what is your feeling going to be? Lonely. The actions would be withdraw, feel lonely, show up differently in your marriage. Like, she's already thinking of ways to maybe get away. And if she takes that out as she's going out more, which I'm not saying she shouldn't, so don't get that, don't understand it that way. But what I'm saying is, if you go out, you dress up, you go out without your husband, and these are the thoughts that you're having, these thoughts can take you in a whole nother direction, and it's not going to be helping your marriage. And like I said, my main purpose for my coaching business is to strengthen marriage. So unless there's physical, verbal abuse going on, I want to help women stay married. So, like I said, these are the actions just based off her post that we could probably pull out. And then the result is she becomes lonely because she keeps telling herself how lonely she is. She can change her thought around her husband, around her marriage, that makes it so he doesn't have to change at all. And she can feel much better about her marriage. She can then start going out, dressing up, but be more confident in her marriage and still have those activities outside. And here's where I wanted to kind of give another perspective of maybe how she can also change her thinking around her husband, is maybe showing, and again, I only have this one moment in time that she's put on the internet. So she may have already done all these things that I'm going to say. And if she has, great. I'm doing these videos to help people that maybe need this advice. So with that said, the feeling maybe she should or could try to generate for her husband is compassion. If he wasn't like that in the beginning and he's all of a sudden losing motivation in life and in the marriage, maybe there's something going on that he needs to work out, that he should seek counseling. And he may be someone that doesn't believe in counseling, because there are other people out there. But with that said, that doesn't mean that she has to feel lonely. She's the one that's creating that feeling for herself. So like I said, an intentional thought towards her husband that she could have is maybe he's going through something that he hasn't shared yet. And maybe that's the conversation she should or could, sorry, I keep using the word, and we'll do a whole topic on should, the word should, but maybe she could sit down and have that conversation with him, not about me, you're not doing this for me, you're not showing me what I need, but asking him, what does he need? Asking him what he's going through, asking him if he wants to seek counseling. That's one way you could look at it. Or you can, maybe another thought that's directly related to her feeling lonely, she could start out, because again, that thought has to be fact, or has to be, you have to feel truth with it. So you can't go from I feel lonely to I'm not lonely, because you won't believe that. It'll just be words. So she could have the thought of, I feel lonely, and that's okay. I can process this feeling. And then from that space, once she's able to process what she's feeling, because lonely is just a feeling, we can process it. It doesn't hurt us. What hurts us is when we try to run away from it. She's trying to look at ways to solve for feeling lonely by external forces. So with that, like I said, if she was in my office and we were having this conversation, we would definitely dig down deeper to find out what's been tried in the past and to really get specific on the exact circumstance and just show her the way that her thoughts are creating this loneliness for her, because it doesn't have to be. She can have absolute happiness in her marriage without him changing. I hope that you received some type of value out of that video. Hope to see you next week, and send in those comments and scenarios and questions and any type of relationship advice that you would like to hear on this channel. Please go ahead and send that in. The email is livepositivellc@gmail.com, and I'll also put that in the comments for you to easily click on it. Have a wonderful day.